You think a black Amex card gives you the right to treat people like dirt? Think again. Tonight, four spoiled rich boys walk into the most exclusive steakhouse in the city, run up a 5-figure bill, and decide they're not paying a single cent just to watch one struggling waitress break. What they don't know is the quiet old man sitting right behind them owns the restaurant, owns the companies they work for, and tonight he's about to teach them a lesson they'll never forget. Stay until the end, because 5 years later the waitress comes back, and the revenge is so perfect it gave me chills. Let's get into it. The polished mahogany doors of John, the city's most exclusive steakhouse, swung open with a heavy, expensive whoosh. Sarah tightened her grip on the empty serving tray, her knuckles turning white. It was 8:45 p.m. on a Friday. The air inside smelled of truffle oil, aged leather, and old money. Sarah hated Fridays. She adjusted her black waistcoat, checking her reflection in the brass pillar near the kitchen. Dark circles were expertly hidden with concealer, but her eyes looked tired. She was 3 months behind on tuition at Columbia Law, and her landlord had slipped an eviction notice under her door that morning. She needed tips tonight. She needed a miracle. "Sarah, table 4 is yours," the floor manager whispered, chaotic and sweating as he rushed past. "VIPs. Daddy's money. Be fast. Don't make eye contact. And for God's sake, don't let them see you sweat." Sarah nodded, took a deep breath, and looked toward table 4, the prime booth in the center of the room, elevated slightly so the people there could look down on everyone else. They were walking in now. 4 of them. They moved like a pack of wolves in Italian suits. Leading the pack was Brad, tall, slick-back blonde hair, jawline that looked bought, not born, suit that cost more than Sarah's entire education. Behind him, Trent, stocky with a permanent sneer, Hunter, already scrolling on his phone, and Spencer, nervous but desperate to fit in. They didn't wait to be seated. They just marched to the center booth, ignoring the hostess. Sarah approached, notepad ready. "Good evening, gentlemen. Welcome to John. My name is Sarah, and I'll be taking care of you tonight. Can I start you off with some water?" Brad interrupted without looking up from the menu, tossed it onto the table with a slap. "Sparkling. And not the domestic trash. Bring us the vase. 4 bottles. Ice on the side, but don't put the ice in the glass. It waters down the bubbles." Trent snickered, nudging Hunter. "She looks like she's about to cry already, Brad. Go easy on the help." "I'm not crying," Sarah said, voice steady even though her heart was hammering. "I'll get that water right away." "And bread?" Hunter barked, finally looking up, eyes raking over her uniform with disgust. "But only if it's fresh. If it's hard, I'm throwing it at you." They burst into laughter, cruel and hollow, cutting through the jazz music. Sarah turned, face burning, walked fast toward the kitchen. As she passed table 6, a small shadowy booth near the kitchen doors, she slowed. A solitary old man sat there in a frayed tweed jacket, reading a battered paperback, cheap Earl Grey tea in front of him. "Rough night already, Sarah?" the old man asked without looking up. Sarah forced a smile. "Just the usual, Arthur. The wolves are out tonight," Arthur hummed, turning a page. "Wolves often forget there are lions in the jungle too. Keep your head up, kid. How's law school?" "Expensive," Sarah sighed. "I have to go, Arthur. They want water without ice, but ice on the side." "Philistines," Arthur muttered. Sarah rushed to the bar, loaded the heavy glass bottles onto her tray, glanced back at table 4. Brad was standing, mimicking a golf swing in the aisle, almost hitting a busbow. Loud. Obnoxious. Pure entitlement. She didn't know it yet, but this table wasn't just difficult. They were about to try to ruin her life. She returned, placed the glasses down perfectly, poured the water. "Too fast," Brad criticized. "You bruised the carbonation." Sarah blinked. "I bruised the water." "Yes." "Pour it again." "New glass." "I'm afraid we charge for every open bottle, sir," Sarah said politely. Brad looked at his friends, wicked grin spreading. "Did you hear that, boys? She thinks I care about the charge. He leaned forward, cologne overpowering. Honey, I could buy this building and turn it into a parking lot for my jet skis. Pour it. Again. Sarah swallowed her pride, grabbed a fresh glass. She needed this job. Just survive the night. By 9:30 p.m. the bill had already passed $3,000. Seafood Tower ate only the lobster claws, left the rest to rot. Wagyu beef carpaccio complained it was too cold after letting it sit 20 minutes while screaming about crypto. Sarah was running a marathon. Every trip to the table brought new, weirder, humiliating demands. My napkin fell, Spencer said, pointing at the floor. Sarah bent to pick it up. No, Brad snapped his fingers. Get a fresh one. And use tongs. I don't want your germs on my linen. I washed my hands, sir. Tongs? Brad repeated, staring her dead in the eyes. She got the silver tongs, placed a fresh napkin on his lap with them. Good girl, Brad sneered. See? You can be trained. Sarah felt a lump in her throat, walked away fast, vision blurring. She hid at the back station, filling water pitchers, just breathing. They're animals, whispered Marco the sommelier, uncorking a bottle beside her. That guy Brad? Brad Sterling. His dad is CEO of Sterling and Kobrish Investments. Thinks the world exists to serve him. He's testing me, Sarah whispered. Wants me to snap so he can get me fired. Don't give him the satisfaction. Kill them with kindness. Sarah nodded, took the expensive wine, walked back. Ah, finally, Trent shouted, banging the table. We were about to die of thirst. The 2015 Chateau Margaux, gentlemen, Sarah announced, presenting the label. Brad waved his hand. Just pour it. We know what it is. She poured a taste into Brad's glass. He swirled it violently, sipped, swished it like mouthwash, then spat it back in the glass. Corked, he declared loudly. The restaurant went quiet. Corked. Tastes like vinegar and wet dog. Take it away. Bring another one. That's an $800 bottle, sir. Are you deaf? Take this swill away. He shoved the glass. Red wine splashed across Sarah's white shirt, all over the tablecloth. Look what you did! Brad shouted. You clumsy idiot! You pushed it, Sarah stammered. I did no such thing, Brad lied. She tripped. Hunter laughed. Saw it with my own eyes. The manager, Mr. Henderson, rushed over. Is everything all right, Mr. Sterling? No. Your waitress is drunk or something. Spilled wine everywhere, tried to serve us vinegar. I expect this bottle off the bill. Mr. Henderson turned to Sarah, eyes cold. He never asked her side. Sarah, clean this up immediately. Change your shirt. Mr. Sterling, I apologize. The bottle is on the house. I'll bring a fresh one myself. A tear escaped Sarah's eye. She wiped it away fast. She scrubbed the table. Brad leaned in, whispering so the manager couldn't hear. Make sure you scrub hard, sweetheart. That's all you're good for, cleaning up after people who actually matter. Sarah's hand stopped. Rage burned white hot. But she thought of tuition, thought of eviction, lowered her head. Yes, sir. From the corner booth, Arthur watched. He had put down his book, removed his reading glasses, gray eyes narrow. He signaled Marco. That bottle of Margaux. Don't throw it away. Bring it and a glass to my table. Arthur, the customer said it's corked. Humor me. Marco brought it. Arthur poured, swirled, sipped, closed his eyes. Perfect. Oh, cherry tobacco. Not a hint of cork. He pulled out a battered notebook, clicked a pen, looked at Brad. Strike one, he whispered, writing something down. Back in the kitchen, Sarah leaned against the cold steel counter, breathing shallow. New shirt too big, cuffs rolled. Table 4 is asking for you. The expediter barked. 4 tomahawk ribeyes, A5 Wagyu medium rare, with 24-karat gold leaf. Sarah stared at the steaks, each one $400, covered in edible gold. Grotesque. She lifted the heavy tray, shoulders screaming, walked out. Arthur raised his teacup in a silent toast as she passed. It gave her just enough strength. She reached table 4. The mood had turned louder, drunker. Here she is! Brad clapped mockingly. The comeback queen. Did you walk here without falling? They laughed, pounding the table. Spencer looked at his lap. Your steaks, gentlemen, Sarah said, voice flat. Wait! Brad stopped her. We need a photo for the gram. He shoved his phone into her hand. Make sure the lighting's right. If I look fat, you're doing it again. They leaned in, fake smiles. Say net worth. Net worth, they shouted. She snapped it, handed it back. Acceptable. You may go. She turned. Actually, hang on. We have a bet. Sarah paused. Hunter says with tips a waitress like you pulls in, what, $2,000 a month? I say less. Who's closer? $500 on the line. They were betting on her poverty. I don't discuss my finances with customers, sir, Sarah said tightly. Come on, don't be shy. We're job creators. Are you poor or dirt poor? I'm a law student at Columbia, sir. I work here to pay tuition. My situation is temporary. My dignity is not. Silence. Then explosion of laughter. A lawyer? Brad gasped, wiping a tear. She thinks she's gonna be a lawyer. Do you know who my father is? He keeps a whole firm on retainer just for parking tickets. You're never gonna be a lawyer. You're gonna fetch coffee from my lawyers. Brad, that's enough, Spencer said quietly. Brad turned on him. Excuse me, charity case? Remember Daddy got you the internship. Don't grow a spine now. Spencer shut up. That will be all, Sarah. Go fetch napkins. You're boring us. Sarah walked away repeating to herself, finish law school. Sue people like him. Take everything. At table 6 Arthur finished his tea, signaled Marco for the house phone. He dialed a number from memory. Hello? Gerald, Arthur said, voice suddenly deep and commanding. It's Arthur. Arthur Harrington. Pause. Chair scraping. Mr. Harrington! My God, sir, I haven't heard from you in. The merger is fine. I'm calling about your son, Brad. Is he in trouble? Police? Not yet. I'm sitting behind him at John right now. He's wearing a suit that cost more than my first car and behaving like an animal. He's cruel, Gerald. And he represents my interests. I don't do business with cruel men. Watch your phone. I'll text you shortly. Arthur hung up. Strike 2. The meal dragged another hour. By the end the tablecloth was a war zone. 11 p.m. Restaurant thinning. Sarah approached with the leather folder. Can I get you anything else? Coffee, dessert? Just the damage, Brad said, patting his stomach. She placed the folder down. He opened it, whistled. 5,400. Not bad. Spent more on shoes. Then his face changed. Predatory smile. He reached into his pocket, dropped something onto his half-eaten mashed potatoes. Excuse me, he shouted theatrically. Is there a problem? He held up the plate. A long black hair in the potatoes. Sarah touched her blonde bun. Sir, that's black hair. I have blonde hair, and the chef is bald. Are you calling me a liar? Brad roared. This is a health code violation. I'm not paying for any of this. He slammed the plate, china shattered. Manager rushed over. Your waitress poisoned my food with hair and accused me of planting it. Mr. Henderson looked at Brad's $50,000 Rolex, made the calculation. Sarah, what did you do? It's not my hair. Stop making excuses. He turned to Brad with a smile. Mr. Sterling, the meal is on the house. Deepest apologies. That's my entire night's revenue. Sarah cried. Quiet, Sarah. Brad grinned, tossed the folder on the floor. Come on, boys. This place is a dump. But he stopped in front of Sarah. Usually even when I get it comped I leave a tip for pity. Was gonna leave you $100. He pulled out a crisp $100 bill, held it out. Sarah reached. He let go. It fluttered into a puddle of wine and sauce. Oops. Pick it up. Sarah stared. I said pick it up. On your knees. Show us where you belong. The restaurant went dead silent. Everyone watching. Sarah looked at the manager. He looked away. She looked at the money. Groceries for 2 weeks. Rent. Slowly she bent her knees. Brad pulled out his phone to record. That's it. Good dog. Stop. The voice cracked like a whip. Not loud, but absolute. Sarah froze halfway down. Brad turned. Who said that? Mind your own business, Grandpa. Arthur was standing, cane in hand like a weapon. He walked slowly to the center. Look down at Sarah. Stand up, my dear. Do not kneel for this trash. Brad's face turned purple. Who do you think you are? Some old bum? Get out of my face before I have you thrown out. Arthur smiled without warmth. You think I'm a bum? And you think you're rich? I know I'm rich. My last name is Sterling. Arthur pulled out his phone, tapped once, held it up. Funny you mentioned Sterling. I was just texting the owner of Sterling and Company. Yeah, right. Like you have my dad's number. I have everyone's number. He pulled out a heavy black metal card with a gold crest. I am Arthur Harrington. I own the Harrington Group. Which means I own the bank that owns the holding company that owns this restaurant chain. Mr. Henderson went ghost white. Mr. Harrington, we didn't know. I like to inspect my investments anonymously. Tonight I'm very disappointed. He turned to Brad, voice a dangerous whisper. Pick up that $100 bill. What? On your knees. Brad laughed nervously. You're bluffing. Arthur tapped speakerphone. Ringing. Arthur? Gerald Sterling's voice echoed through the silent room. Gerald, I have your son Brad in front of me. He thinks I'm a crazy old bum and believes the Sterling name lets him abuse my staff. Pause. He did what? Put him on. Arthur held the phone out. Brad's hands shook like leaves. Dad, he's lying. Shut up. Do you know who that is? Arthur Harrington owns the controlling stake in our firm. Apologize. Do whatever he says or don't come home. I'll cut your cards, write you out of the will. Line dead. Brad looked like he'd seen his own grave. He looked for his friends. They were suddenly very busy with the ceiling and floor. He was alone. He looked at Sarah, really saw her for the first time. Slowly, knees hit the floor. His expensive suit soaked in sauce. He pinched the soggy bill. Restaurant gasped. Phones out recording. Stand up. Arthur commanded. Brad stood dripping. Apologize. And mean it. I'm sorry. Brad croaked. Louder. I'm sorry. I was a jerk. I lied about the hair. I'm sorry. Just go. Sarah whispered. Not yet. Arthur looked at the three friends. The bill is $5,400. Since Mr. Sterling is having a bad night, you three pay it. Split 3 ways. And tip 50%. Or I call your father's next. Cards flew onto the table faster than lightning. And you, Arthur told Brad, banned for life from every restaurant I own. Get out. Brad ran. Door slammed behind him. Arthur turned to the manager. Henderson. Sir? You stood there and let him force her to her knees. Keys. Swipe card. Name pin. Now. But I've worked here 10 years. You're fired. Blacklisted. No restaurant in this city will touch you. Get out. Henderson dropped the keys, walked out the back door, career dead. Arthur turned to Sarah. She was shaking. Am I fired too? Fired? My dear girl, you're the only reason I haven't closed this place tonight. He handed her a handkerchief. You stood tall when others crumbled. He walked to the receipts the 3 boys left, picked them up. $3,200 in tips. Hazard pay. Sarah's hands shook. This covers rent, tuition. You earned it. He pulled out a cream business card. Report Monday 9 a.m. to this address. Ask for Elena. Paid paralegal internship, full tuition stipend. You won't carry trays anymore. You'll carry briefcases. Sarah stared, tears falling. You're serious? I never joke about talent. Go home. Study. Big career starts Monday. Arthur walked out, cane tapping victory. 5 years later. Harrington Tower, 80th floor. Sarah Miller stepped out of the glass elevator in a navy bespoke suit, Cartier watch, leather briefcase with gold SM. Good morning, Miss Miller. Your 10 a.m. is pacing in conference room B. Let him pace. Desperation builds character. She pushed open the door. Brad Sterling sat at the table, older, broken, cheap worn suit. His company liquidated. Harrington Group buying the corpse. Counselor, Brad rasped, trying to sound big. Let's make this quick. Sarah sat at the head of the table. Mr. Sterling? I'm Sarah Miller, junior partner, Harrington Legal. You're here to surrender. Brad squinted. Do I know you? Sarah touched her hair. I used to work in the service industry. I never forget a face, or an order. Recognition hit him like a train. No way, you're the waitress. The hair you put in the food. The girl you told to kneel for $100. That was years ago, we were kids. Sarah slid the surrender documents across the table. Sign. You walk away with nothing. Or refuse, go bankrupt, face the SEC alone. He begged for a payout. Sarah pointed to Clause 14b. We're keeping the cafeteria staff, but it's understaffed. Dishwasher, lunch server. Minimum wage plus tips, if the customers are generous. Brad stared, mouth open. You want me to wash dishes? Honest work. You might finally learn value. He signed, handshaking, empire gone. Sarah stood, tucked a crisp $100 bill into his pocket. For a cab. Looks like rain. And Brad? Try to be kind to the driver. You never know who they might be one day. He fled. Sarah looked out at the city, sun breaking through the clouds. Her phone buzzed, text from Arthur, did he sign? She smiled, typed back, he signed. Case closed. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the long game. Sarah didn't just get revenge. She got success. She proved the best way to beat the people who look down on you is to rise so high they have to look up forever. Brad lost everything because he couldn't treat a waitress like a human being. Your current situation is not your final destination. Keep working. Keep your head up. And always watch for the quiet Arthur in the corner who might just change your life. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and drop in the comments. Was Sarah too harsh offering Brad the cafeteria job, or was it the perfect karma? I read every single comment. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.